Today, we're going one-on-one with Dr. Renee Fowler Hornbuckle as she gives an in-depth, step-by-step, retrospective look on recalibrating your life from the inside out. Come along on this journey as Dr. Renee speaks.
Today on Dr. Renee Speaks, we're going to talk about the power of choice. In my life, there have been times when I have made the absolute wrong choice in what I chose to do, and it really affected my life. And so in Job 22 and 28, it's a really powerful reference on the importance of our choices. It says, "You will decide on a matter, and it will be established for you, and light will shine on your ways." So you have to understand that God has created everyone with a will, and we all have the same power to choose between right and wrong, good and evil, positive or negative. You must understand that God has created each of us with a will. We all have the same power to choose between right and wrong, good and evil, positive or negative. And throughout the day, we make tons of choices. Let's look at really what that word choice means. It is the act of choosing, the act of picking or deciding between two or more possibilities. It's the opportunity or power to choose between two or more opportunities. In other words, the opportunity to make a decision. And so throughout our daily lives, our life is full of choices. We make choices about, what we're going to wear, when we brush our teeth, the makeup that we wear, what we're going to eat, who we interact with. So choices are presented to us on a daily basis. Now, there's some things that we must learn to do so that we make the best choices in every aspect of our life. So you have to learn how to choose the best thing, the more excellent things over mediocre things. A lot of times in our life we compromise, but we must understand that we have to make choices, because every choice that we make, the right choices we have to make, because every choice that we make has a consequence, okay? So I'm just going to give you some thoughts about things that you can begin to think on, because as a man thinketh, so is he. But think about this for a moment. Every choice that you make, when you choose between two or more possibilities, you have to live with that choice. I know I'm not the only one who's made some wrong choices. So when it comes to making choices, there are going to be some practical things that I give you, because you've got to learn how to make the right choices. But think about that. You must live with the choice or decision that you make. What is the choice or decision that you made today? Because you got to live with whatever choice you make, all right? The choices you make will affect others around you. See, a lot of times we are so selfish because we don't think about anybody else when we're making choices. Anytime I process something, I have to choose, especially when it comes to certain behaviors, because I don't ever want to, make a mockery of, being a mom, for example. I want my kids to be able to say, you know what, I'm proud of my mom, not I'm embarrassed by my mom. So there are choices that I make every day that are totally dependent upon the outcome and the effect of how it will impact my children. Most people don't think that way. They just make choices and they tend to think, and it's really a lie of the enemy, because nobody will know and it won't affect anybody. I'm my own person. That is such a selfish way to live. You have to understand that every choice, every decision that you make will affect other people. Your choices and your decisions reveal the desires of your heart. The choices you make, if you're a believer, will affect your Christian witness. So you have to really think about everything that you do, okay? So I'm going to give you just a few tips on a few things that you can do to really make the right choices, okay? So that you can choose between good and bad, right and wrong, good and evil, positive or negative. The first thing you can do is you can always pray. I know you may be saying, well, here I am, I'm at this moment. Get a quick prayer in. God, what would you have me to do at this moment about the decision I'm about to make? You can do that in a split second, and then trust me, God will answer, all right? So pray. You can always pray. If you have a little more time, take the time to weigh the pros and the cons. The pros are the positive things about your decision, and the cons are the negative or the consequences associated with the decision. Take the time to write it down. Writing is a lost art, and we write the vision, make it plain so we can read it and run with it. So when it comes to you making a choice and making a decision, you got to learn how to get a piece of paper, draw a line down the middle of the paper, put pros and cons on one side, and say, okay, what are the positive things about this decision and what are the negative consequences of this decision? And then weigh them out. When you write it down and you look at it and you read it, then it really can begin to bring clarity to the decision or the choice that you must make, all right? You need to then analyze the possible outcomes. If I do this, then what may happen? If I make this choice, then what can occur? If I choose this person, then how is being in relationship with that person going to affect my life? Okay, because it does, all right? This is some serious stuff. And it's not something that we're taught to do on a readily basis, but you got to do this. Analyze the possible outcomes of every choice that you have to make. Consult wise counsel. Now, let me talk about this for a moment, because a lot of times we go to people that we know are going to agree with us because we want to hear what we want to hear. But you got to surround yourself with some people that really will speak truth to you, give you wisdom, give you wise counsel on what you must do. And I know you may not want to hear it. There are times in my life when I go to people and they'll say to me, you know what? This is going to happen if you choose to do this. But I appreciate their honesty. I appreciate their truthfulness. You know, I don't want a lot of yes people around me. I want people that are going to be, honest with me and truthful with me when I'm weighing in on weighty decisions, especially things that are really impactful in life. I need the wisdom of other people. The Bible says in the multitude of counsel, there is wisdom and there is safety. And so you have to look at wise counsel as being people that you can go to that will provide to you truth, that will be honest with you, but that can look at what you're dealing with from a different perspective. And I have found that when I've done that it has really gotten me to a safe place. You know, it's protected me from being in the wrong space at the wrong time with the wrong people. And so you really got to value wise counsel. Don't put yourself in a position to where you're always making choices and decisions by yourself, okay? Because you then become the only one that inputs counsel on the situation. And if you have gotten yourself into a place where your decisions have not turned out well, hello, you really need to understand you got to get some other people around you, you know? People say that I'm pretty hard when it comes to certain things, but I'm going to go through an evaluation process. I'm going to ask you hard questions. I'm going to deal with you where you are. A lot of people don't like to deal with that. They're like, why she got to ask me all these questions? I'm asking you those questions so that you can see it from every perspective. Okay, now let me get off of that high horse, because you can see that push the button with me, because I just think a lot of times it's so easy and it saves us so much time, saves us money, saves us relationships, if we would just take the time to go to somebody and ask, what do you think about this? Okay, if you go to people and ask them and then really value their expertise and their wisdom, it will save you a whole lot of headache. All right, just hear me. I'm speaking loud and clear, and I'm speaking from experience, and I'm speaking from what works, and I'm speaking from a biblical truth that truly will help you in making your choices. All right. Sometimes you got to follow your instincts. You know, mama used to say it like this: if it don't feel right, it probably ain't right. Okay, so follow your instincts. Sometimes instinctively we know what's right, but what we know what's right, we sometimes allow the multitudes and the people around us to coerce us into doing something that we know is against what we're feeling. Okay, so learn how to follow your instincts. Trust your own intuition. All right, obey what God says. You know, when it comes down to perhaps maybe a moral matter, what does God say about the situation? If you're a believer, just obey God. It's really not that difficult. But at the end of the day, you know what? The choice is yours. And let me leave you with this quote: desire does not change your destiny, decisions do. So I'm Dr. Renee. I'm speaking to you, and I'm telling you that your choices and your decisions are important. And again, desire does not change your destiny. Your decisions do. They're pretty important. So what choice will you make?
To partner and or support Dr. Renee, visit ReneeHornbuckle.com.